Huge game tonight in the NBA as the 22-7 Los Angeles Lakers played host to the 18-12 Brooklyn Nets. This is the Unnamed Sports Show's NBA recap here on the Sports Talkline Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. A battle of numbers 2 seeds in the conference. We're lacking a bit of star power as Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant were both out with injuries, but Kyrie Irving would check back into the lineup for the Brooklyn Nets. The Lakers would come out firing thanks to a three by Marc Gasol for a quick 5-0 lead. The teams would trade misses, and James Harden would score the Nets' first points of the night with a three of his own. Kyrie would later tie things up at 7 with a jumper before LeBron got into the game with this nice and one on the back down on Joe Harris to bring the lead to 6 points for the Lakers. Harden would step back and respond for the Nets with another three to cut it to 13-10, but Brooklyn would leave Kyle Kuzma wide open at the other end, where he would hit a three of his own. After some charity stripe buckets for Kyrie to cut things a bit closer, Harden would drive past Marc Gasol to tie things up at 16. Timothy Luwawu Cabaret would bring it off the bench for the Nets. After the teams traded buckets, he would hit one of his 2 threes in the quarter, and Brooklyn took their first lead 21-20. The Lakers were basically trading layups and jump shots for threes, and LeBron would hit this late baseline fadeaway to cut things to 4, but Tyler Johnson would steal all the momentum at the end of the first quarter with this big three, as the Nets were shooting 57% in the first quarter and would go away with a 31-24 lead, thanks to 5 threes from beyond the arc. Tyler Johnson would extend the lead early, and Montrezl Harrell would score the first 4 points for LA, but it was once again trading twos for threes, like I said, as Harris would drain another one. Harden would drive and get the hard hit, but no foul was called before Cook was able to stop the bleeding for Los Angeles on a layup inside. LeBron James would drive inside and get a call against Harris for the and one, and the Lakers had cut things back to single digits. But like I said, LA was having a tough time on the defensive end, and Harden was able to find DeAndre Jordan not once, but twice inside before KCP found Harrell back on the other end on the fast break. Every time the Lakers tried to make a push, this happened. Harris would splash another one to make it 49-37. After a flush by Harrell from KCP, again, Harris forced a timeout with the bank three. I sure hope he called that. So Kyrie was back in action and very active in the first half, getting this offensive rebound off the miss and floating it back home. He would hit a jumper shortly after before James would take over to end the half. A great fadeaway before getting sent to the line on a foul and nailing his 35,000th point in his illustrious NBA career. So that was fantastic to see. The first half would end at 64-53 for the Nets, thanks to some hot shooting from beyond the arc, going 11 of 21 and holding the Lakers to 47% from the field. Let's get to the third quarter. The Lakers tried to match Brooklyn by going small, but after a quick Harris three, James Harden would hit a step back just 2 minutes into the second half. Not to be outdone, LeBron James was a human highlight reel of his own, and he was able to take this inbound pass and hit it late in the shot clock to drain this fadeaway three from basically the stands. Kyrie Irving would hit a nice 2 free throws from the line before LeBron James would continue his highlights. A huge dunk would cut things to 71-59, and not to be outdone, youngster Trenton Horton-Tucker, who I absolutely love watching, despite some flaws, was able to get a nice spin move and cut things to 10. LeBron would hit another fadeaway for his 25th points of the evening before the 3 shooting of Brooklyn picked right back up. Cabarro would respond with a 3 for the visiting side, and he was on fire, giving Brooklyn a 15-point lead. And they would extend it in the third quarter thanks to Landry Shamet, who hit a 3 of his own and was fouled on the play, but missed from the line. The lead was pushed to 20 before Marc Gasol was left wide open, basically dared to take a 3. He was able to nail it before LeBron James would drive on They and one and miss on the free throw. The Lakers were down 90-74 going into the fourth quarter. Well, Lakers fans, if you were hoping for a comeback in the fourth quarter, we might not have it. James Harden would show his versatility with a little draw pass to DeAndre Jordan for the flush, before Harris would add to his 3 tally on the night as the Nets would extend things to 22-point lead. LeBron would be left wide open after some scrambly play and would nail his first 3 of the evening, hitting 30 of his 32 points on the night. He would finish with 8 rebounds and 7 assists. Kyrie would add to his strong game for the Nets in his first game back with a nice fadeaway, and that would basically bring us to garbage time. The Lakers would bring on the bench, and as always, THT, Trenton Horton-Tucker, would provide some entertainment with a nice slash inside. But Landry Shamet would sum up the game, hitting another 3 for Brooklyn with under a minute to go, and the Nets would move to 19-12 on the season with a 109-98 road victory against the Los Angeles Lakers, who fall to 22-8 on this season. LeBron James led the way for the Lakers with 32 points, and Kuzma added 16 points and 10 rebounds. For the Nets, James Harden had another double-double, putting up 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 dimes, while Kyrie looked good with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Lakers will host the Miami Heat on Saturday, while the Nets take on the other team from Los Angeles, the Clippers, on Sunday. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video down at the bottom if you haven't already. Comment on what you thought of this game. It was a fantastic game. We thought would have seen a little bit more from the Los Angeles Lakers, but they've been a lot better road team than they have been at home this year. So that's interesting to see. They both remain pretty high up in the East and Western conferences. So maybe a preview of the NBA Finals. Who knows? For the Unnamed Sports Show, I have been your host, Joshua Griffith, here on the Sports Talk Line Network. Thank you very much for joining me.